Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Raymond Mhor, Kilted Prepper. How's everybody doing? So, this is my second live that I've been done. Did one last week, and it was a lot of fun. A lot of people showed up, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate if you're taking the time right now to view us and watch us and learn more. So make sure if you have any questions or anything like that, put them down here in the comments, and I see them popping up as they go. And I'll really try to answer your questions as you ask them. But first of all, I want to know if anybody can hear me, if everything's good out there. And oops. So um, So again, just thank you so much. I just appreciate you guys. First of all the subscribers who are returning and everything. I thank you so much for taking the time to watch these videos and watch and support my channel and share, like, and give people thumbs up. So I also appreciate any folks who are new. I really work hard at trying to help the new prepper or even the established prepper. There's a lot of stuff that we who are established, kind of may know or forget, and a lot of times we forget the basics. And so, interestingly enough, um, you know, we're seeing a lot more people coming into the prepper community. And thank you, Debbie, 5x5, super, I appreciate it. Times I don't know if anybody's hearing me or not, so I appreciate you letting me know. But a little bit about me. I've lived through a number of disasters. I lived through the Loma Prieta earthquake that took place in, I think, 1989. And that's where the Bay Bridge fell down and the freeways fell down and the whole San Francisco Bay Area, the bridge fell down. And so lived through that. And I was actually a FEMA inspector. After all that, went out and inspected homes and buildings and things, and I learned a lot out of that. And tonight I'm talking about the 11 things that you need to get now. A lot of what I'm talking about tonight is what I learned in a lot of these disasters. Living in Texas, I ran through Harvey, Katrina, and Rita. Lived through those. Where I lived in New Braunfels, we actually had the swine flu go through, and our town was completely locked down, and kind of lived through actually a real pandemic. And there were only two stores that were open, and they locked everything down. And they had armed guards at Walmart and CVS. Those are the only two stores that were open, and they were only allowing so many people in or so many people out. And so there's been a lot of experience besides all my military experience and jumping out of planes and eating snakes and killing monkeys and stuff like that. So there's been a lot of things that I've learned over the years. And then interestingly enough, I don't know if I told you guys this, but you can check it out on YouTube, and I'll try to find a link and post it. But the History Channel came out to my place, and when I was out living out at the ranch, and did a show basically featuring me and my then wife. And it was called Countdown to the Apocalypse, the Four Horsemen. And if you do a search on that on YouTube, you can watch the whole show. But we were the featured people on that show, and so that was a lot of fun having them come out and doing it and everything. But yeah, I was on the History Channel, and almost did Doomsday Preppers also. They contacted me and was interested in having me come on the show. But I know a number of people who were on season one, and a lot of people who were on season one were saying, "Don't do it, man, don't do it." And so I chose not to go on their second season. But again, tonight, what I'm talking about is a lot of the experience that I've had over these years and seeing disasters over and over and over again. There were a number of items that just kept coming up. And so tonight, what I want to talk to you about are the 11 things that you need to get now. And we're looking at a lot of interesting things that are going on, particularly in my arena, which I keep tracking, is food. And food items are getting to the point where they're very expensive, and I don't believe there will be no food on the shelves. What I do believe is that eventually people will not be able to afford food. And so we're going to start having a situation of haves and have nots. And when things start hitting a critical mass of the have nots, then we're going to really start seeing some itchy nose, crazy things take place. And so that's what I'm very concerned about. And this is why I do these videos. I would rather have more preppers preparing than people who are not. And so I want allies, not enemies. And so again, this is why I do this. And I have a passion for sharing and teaching and doing anything that I can to help the new prepper or even the seasoned prepper and everything. You can never stop learning, folks, and there's always things that you can learn. And so even if you're a seasoned prepper, you still got things that you can learn, a lot knowledge that you can learn. I mean, I'm always finding out stuff. It's interesting. My wife and I are binging right now, Naked and Afraid. And folks, you want a really good show and to really see how people react and how do people do, as well as a lot of mistakes. Um, that's a great show to watch, and I'm constantly picking things out. My wife constantly is picking things out. Like some of the things they have bug problems, and she keeps talking to, well, go get a termite nest, put it on the fire. And so we talk to the TV a lot when we're doing that. Debbie says, tell us how you're preparing the foods that you dehydrate and what you put in jars to keep them for years. Super easy. I use my Excalibur dehydrator. I'm a huge fan of Excalibur. They are the dehydrator to get. They run about $140. Sometimes you can see them on sale for about $289 every once in a while. I'm working to actually being an ambassador for Excalibur as well as some of the other products that the company creates and makes. And so I'm really pleased with Excalibur. I've been using the Excalibur now, gosh, ugh, 15 years, 20 years now. Yeah. And so I've gone through two of them. The one that I have right now is about 10 years old, still doing great, still kicking. And so I am a big fan of Excalibur. I really encourage people to, save your money up and get an Excalibur. In the olden days, I went through a lot of these round stackable ones, see those stacked up dehydrated things, basically they're beef jerky machines is what they are. And so you can't control the heat. They're not forced air, and so they're really not the greatest thing in the world, but they're inexpensive. The negative is if you're doing anything other than meat, you're really cooking out the nutritional value of the food. So for example, if you use veggies, you're dehydrating veggies or fruit or something like that using one of those round Ronco dehydrators, you're basically cooking it and you're cooking the nutritional value out. Where with an Excalibur, you can really fine tune the temperature and really preserve as much nutrition as you can. And then what I do is I will put things in mason jars. I'm a big fan of mason jars. I'm not too much of a fan of mylar bags because when I vacuum seal mylar bags and sucked all the air out and everything, something that's been dehydrated tends to be crispy. Being crispy has sharp points. Sharp points, puncture bags. And so I've had a number of mylar bags get popped. And so I just go to mason jars. And then what I use for the mason jar is I believe it's about a 25-30 cc oxygen absorber that I put inside the mason jar, and it keeps the food super fresh. The enemy of food, and especially in food preservation, is light, heat, and oxygen and moisture. And so, if you can eliminate those items, your food will last quite a long time. And if you're dehydrating your food, you can have food last up to 15, 20, 25 years. And again, it depends on what you're dehydrating and everything. Dairy items don't last as long, but I do make powdered eggs, and especially now, what I've been doing is picking up a lot of the bigger, 60 count egg cartons. They've been on sale at Walmart for 18 something, I forget. And so I've been dehydrating eggs and then making powdered eggs. And there's several methods in making powdered egg. Maybe I'll do a video on that someday. It's something that a lot of people are very interested in, as well as you can also dehydrate 1% milk. and good for your coffee, So, but in all of this and everything says you can't use any so you can't use any dehydrators. I don't like the Ronco ones because all they are is just heaters. They're jerky machines. That's all they are. And they're not a forced air dehydrating machine. There's other ones that are out there, but I just like Excalibur because it's a workhorse. I do not like any of the digital machines. If you have digital, it breaks. And so the Excalibur Basic is what I have. It's just one knob. You turn it and it turns up hotter or colder. And it is probably the best one out there. Like I said, it is a workhorse. And it just, when you start getting all fancy with all the timers and everything like that, I mean, what I do is when I dehydrate, I usually put something in around 3 in the afternoon, and then the next morning I jar it up. And so that's a good 8 to 12 hours of being dehydrated, and it's just perfect. What I just did today, and I took some pictures. I'll post them to the Facebook later, probably tomorrow. But I dehydrated a bunch of orange peels because we've been eating a lot of oranges, and so I don't want to see those orange peels go to waste. And so I dehydrated those and powdered orange peels, and then I constantly powder any sort of greens that we have. So instead of them going bad, I throw them in the dehydrator and dehydrate the greens. And I have a jar of greens. And greens are good to have, powdered greens, because you can add them to smoothies, you can make tea, add them to soup, all kinds of things. And this way, you're getting the greens that your body needs, as well as the nutritional value that the greens have in a concentrated form being powdered. But it will, it's great to easy to do. I powder radish greens, I powder turnip greens, I powder kale, the tops of celery. I just powdered some of those today. We had a lot of those celery tops, and so instead of throwing them away, why not powder them? And excuse me, I have got an itchy on my nose, and so. But I really encourage people just to get the Excalibur. It's never broken on me. In fact, the very first one that I had, I sold to somebody. And so as far as I know, it's still working. But the one that we have is about 10 years old and it's still plugging away. And in parts, if it ever does break, the parts are easy. It's a one unit thing. Unscrew it, put a new one on, and it's great. Then you have to know what temp to dry them at. Does it come with a book? Yes, your dehydrator will come with a basic book, but I am actually writing a book right now. I've been invited to come speak at a number of preparedness conferences here in the spring and early summer. So I think one, two, three, I think 5 conferences I'm going to be speaking at. And again, uh, friend me on Facebook, and then that way you'll see what I'm doing. I always post my stuff on Facebook as well as all over on some of the other links and everything that I have, Instagram and so forth. But how do you do eggs? Scramble them first? Yes, I do. You scramble them first, and then there's, like I said, there's 2 methods. You can cook and scramble them, or you can, if you have some of these silicone trays, which I have, that have an edge or a barrier around it, and you just mix them up, pour them out, and dehydrate them. You have to dehydrate them though for 180 degrees for 8 to 12 hours. So I don't see a link for the dehydrator. I don't see a link for your Facebook either. Dang it. Well, if you give me a second, Debbie, I'll be glad to send you some of those. And was late getting moving. I had to get my daughter was spending the day at grandma's house, and so I just went and picked her up. And so I am not totally and completely prepared. But tell you what, let me see. I can give you some quick links here. Um, Here is, let's see, let's get those two. And let me paste these. So that's my Facebook and that's my website. So, and if you read any of my food articles or anything like that, I have links to the dehydrator and I give you my whys and everything as well. So, but let's get moving forward. And over the years, like I said, I've been through a lot of disasters and a lot of things like that, as well as my military training. And I've just started seeing a number of things that people should have had or should have, prepared for. And it's like in California, everybody knows that the California is prone to earthquakes. So why doesn't people prepare for earthquakes? And it's amazing to me how many people don't. And so I've really learned how through the pitfalls and what people were lacking, especially when I was inspecting for FEMA and in some of the Loma Prieta homes and everything. And so I would always ask, what is something that you wish that you had? And they'd name off a number of things. And I was really keeping notes on what people think. But the number one thing to get you guys going is water. And a really, really great system is, let's see if I can show it to you here, are these 5-gallon stackable water containers. And I love these things. It's something that me and my family have already too that we use, as well as having some water drums in the garage. And then I have a stream on our property, and we have a Berkey water filter. And any water that is being used is going to be run through the Berkey. So I highly recommend getting a Berkey water filter. And then also I really love these stackables. Other things that you can get, and what I will do is I will compile a list and come back tomorrow and look in the description, and I will have all the links to these things. So Berkey, but there's something called a water bob, and I have several of these. We have one in each bathroom, and what a water bob is a tub liner that will hold water, and then you're able to at least fill your tub up with water, and it's a big bag, and you just fill it up using the spigot and everything. But in this time of emergency, if you know that there's going to be a power outage, or if there's something coming or something like that, if you've got time, then it's a great way of getting some water on. But water bobs cost about $35, and you can get them on Amazon. Again, I'll give you some links here, but you can get them on Amazon and fill your tub, and that will give you at least 50 to 75 gallons of water, because that's about what the average tub will hold. But you can fill them up pretty high. But 5-gallon stackables, water bobs, and then if you have a garage or a means to keep it, you can get these 50-gallon water tanks that you store in your garage, and water does not spoil. So water is a great asset to keep on hand all the time. And then our other source of water is a stream that we have on our property. Next is food. Let's see here. I've been trying to share your video links so people have lots of people. Thank you so much, Debbie. The content is available right now. When this happens, it's usually because the owner only shared it with a small group of people. My videos on YouTube are usually open to everybody. And best thing to do is go to the share link, and so you'll see share, and it'll give you a URL. And then a lot of my videos get posted all over the place on Facebook and other social media and things. But try that. And if you have any problems, email me and let me know, and I'll help you out. But food is number two. So number one was water. Number two is food. And I'm a big proponent of having at least 30 days worth of food on hand. And it's what you want to do is just slowly build that up and still start building up your pantry and so forth. But if you can get to at least 90 days worth of food, and the reason I say food, I mean 90 days, is because it takes man about 90 days to adapt to his new normal. So if we ever are into a SHTF situation and things are going crazy and everything, if you have at least 90 days worth of food, you are able to hunker down, hang out, not get out there with the crowds and everything like that, because when during those times of panic and everything, people are just being crazy and there's panic and stuff. So by being able to just hold up and just take care of yourself and not worry about going to the grocery store or anything like that, then in 90 days, by that time, man has adapted to his new normal. And I'm a fan. I like I said, I dehydrate a lot of stuff, and so I make my own survival food. But another company, there's two companies. Let me get this here. There's two companies that I really love, and I have tried almost all the survival food out there. There's very few that I haven't tried, But the two that I just love is Thrive. And if you want to go to, I'm a Thrive consultant. It's thrive.com/Mhor, Mhor. And you can buy food there. Or I'm a big, huge fan of Augustin Farms. And Augustin's produces great food. I know the owner, or I know Mark Augustin. He is the son of the father who originated this, and I love what they put out there. They put out a really good quality product. It's not super salty, where a lot of these cheaper foods that you can, if you're going to go cheap, that's what you're going to get. And I'm someone who believes in investing in the best that you can get, because your family is going to need it and depend upon it. And so by going cheap, that's what you're going to get. And it's just full of salt, tastes like cardboard or salty sawdust. But Ogson Farms is a great company. They produce great food. I have not had anything bad from them at all. And in fact, they make some of the best powdered milk out there. I've tried a number of different powdered milks, but we stock up a lot on the Ogson Farms milk. And in fact, if you go to raymondmore.com or thekiltedprepper.com, I have under my store, you'll see Augustin Farms. I actually have a list of things that I keep tracking for my own personal self. And I was thinking, hey, since I'm tracking it myself, why don't I, help track for you? But Augustin's Amazon has some great sales on Augustin Farms. And but what you have to do is you have to have a place to go check it out all the time. And so this is why I created this page, is so that I can constantly track and see what's going on with Augustin farm prices. And in fact, I just got in 4 cans of cream of wheat, and they were selling for $8.50 or something like that. But 4 cans of cream of wheat. So I just couldn't pass up that offer. But there's a lot of things, and like here, this is the pancake mix. I bought ones are about $12 a can. $10, $12. No, this was 9 something a can, actually. They were having a super special on this. And so I bought a number of cans of the pancake mix. And there's a lot of things you can do with pancake mix. Now you make pancakes, you can also make kind of water it down just a little bit and make tortillas, or water it down even more and create crepes. But their pancake mix is actually rather tasty, and I really like it a lot. And so I'm a big fan of their pancake mix. But a lot of stuff that Augustin Farms, on the Amazon sales, if you're tracking those and keeping an eye on those, you can pick up some really great food. And all this stuff is at least 20, 25 years shelf life. So big fan of Augustin Farms. It's a great way to augment your pantry and slowly build up a long-term uh, food storage and stuff. Uh, let's see here. So number 2 was food. Uh, Number 3, uh, kitchen items. And so uh, items that will help you prepare. And we've been already been kind of talking about this already, is my dehydrator. And so I love my Excalibur dehydrator, and I dehydrate things all the time. I'm always keeping that thing running. Like I said, it's just today I was canning up or jarring up some orange powder. And so what I did is I took a bunch of orange peels and then put them in the dehydrator. Once they're dehydrated up, crack them up, throw them in the food processor, let them powder up. And then I also have a spice grinder. When they start getting down to like little nuggets and everything, I'll pour it in the spice grinder, and my spice grinder will really make some great powder out of it. But orange powder is great. You can again add it to your pancake mix. You can add it to brownie mix. You can add it to cakes. You can mix it with other spices. I like making a lot of my own spices and rubs. And so doing something like that, some sort of orange, so you can mix, for example, orange, cinnamon, and some clove powder all together, and add in some salt and pepper and some garlic powder and some other things, and kind of get that almost citrusy sort of Caribbean style rub and everything. But I'm always experimenting with powders and making powders and everything. And then another thing, like I said, is I made green powder today too, because I dehydrated a lot of kale. I bought this huge chunk of kale. knowing that I was going to end up dehydrating a lot of it. But we had it in some soup and we used it in some other stuff, but still, I had a big bunch of kale. And so throw it in the dehydrator and I powdered it. And I have constantly going a green jar, or it's my green powder jar. And I'm always digging into it, making smoothies and using it in the morning time and stuff. So I just constantly, yeah, add to that. And so, be it kale, be it radish, be it turnip, be it celery, anything green is what I use for my green powder and things. Um, so we had food, water, and then kitchen tools. The other kitchen tools, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here, is the food saver. This is another item that I just love. And the food saver, what this is it will vacuum seal a lot of stuff, and then you can either freeze it or also, vacuum seal it. Throw a oxygen absorber into it with whatever you're sucking the air out of, and that'll even help hold it down even better. But that way you can put it in your pantry. So, for example, if you have flour or some of these other things, crispy things do not work too well. Like Mylar bags, crispy things tend to have sharp points, and sharp points eventually will puncture these bags, and so you'll lose the vacuum seal. So you have to be really careful about what you're putting in some of these vacuum seal bags. But meat, fish, poultry, a lot of those things I vacuum seal and throw in the freezer. And so my vacuum sealer is a big, huge one. I love my Excalibur. I love my crock pot. I mean, or excuse me, my fermentation pot. And I've got two fermentation pots. I have a small one, which is my experiment pot, and then I have a large one, which is then once I see that my experiment worked, I will then make a bigger batch. And so something like I made, what was it, a couple months ago, I made pineapple kraut, and that stuff turned out really good. Um, simple sauerkraut, but then you just I add a little bit of pickling spices to it, but then I added some cans of crushed pineapple or cubed, cut up pineapple chunks to it as well, and it fermented up really good. That sauerkraut, we don't have any more left because everybody we ate it all, but that turned out really good. And maybe one of these days I'll make a fermentation cookbook too. I'm working on the dehydration cookbook right now, and I'm hoping to have that out around the end of March. So keep an eye out for that one. But other items that I use a lot in the kitchen, I believe in having good knives. And so you want to have knives. I don't really care for pure stainless steel. I like knives that have some good carbon content because you can get a razor sharp edge on them, and it's super easy to sharpen and stuff. So a lot of my cooking knives are got a good decent carbon base to it. But having some good knives is very important, and a sharp knife is a safe knife. If your knives are dull, you'll always cut yourself. At least that's what I've noticed with me. You can check out. I got a lot of cuts on my fingers, and because I do a lot of cutting and chopping and things like that. Let's see here. Debbie said uh, the Browns are watching from across the street. Okay. Oh, someone's saying that it isn't good to store. Well, pancake mixes. If you sometimes pancake mix can go bad. Store-bought pancake mix does have a shelf life. And so if you're going to buy pancake mix, get it from either Thrive or Oxen Farms or something, because what they do is it's vacuum sealed. They put some oxygen absorbers in there with it, and then they also shoot it with nitrogen. And so anytime you open up the cans, you'll hear psst and stuff. So it's a really, and so a lot of the pancake mixes, if you do it yourself, can, you know, not do too well. So I learned that one myself because I had some bags kind of start to blow up on me, when I was bagging up my own pancake mix, and I said, nope, not good. So, but yeah, uh, I have one of them already, but need to do absorbers at a good price. Oxygen absorbers are actually inexpensive. At least to me, I think they're inexpensive. You want about a 25, 30 cc for mason jars, and you can get something like 50 of them for $12 to $15 on Amazon. And so keep an eye out for those. But I use oxygen absorbers like crazy. So I'm always in it. Okay, so we talked about water, we talked about food, we talked about kitchen prep items, and now battery operated items and things like flashlights and radios and everything. These are, again, some of the 11 things that you need to have on hand now. And so some of the things I want to share. This is by Everready, and it comes in a 4 pack. And again, I'll put a link to it and stuff. But these are great LED um, flashlights or lanterns. They have a little button up here, and so gives you a flashlight, and then it has a flasher and does another strobe. But you can also turn them into a lantern. See, and they open all the way up. So the bigger they are, the more light they put out, or little light, and very sturdy. I mean, I've dropped these things all over the place, but I just love that they have a little handle on top and a flashlight, so you can walk around. Um, but a 4 pack of these, they had them on sale on Amazon for, I want to say, something like $14 or $15 for a 4 pack, and they came with batteries, of course. But I still want to say, even now, they're sitting around $19. But they have a little hook on the bottom, so you can hang them and light up an area and stuff. But for 19 bucks, you can't go wrong. And again, they come in a 4 pack with batteries, and these are great little workhorses. Another one that I'm a big fan of is by Rayovac, and the Rayovac. This is a camp light, and this is a 300 lume camp light. And again, you're able to step it down. Um, but this is really, I've had this now for probably, I have a number of these, and I think these are probably 15, 20 years old, and these are still going strong. They have a little bleepy light here that will bleep and tell you if the batteries need charging or if the batteries are still good. And again, they have a hook on the bottom so you can hang it. But I love these. And so now, next better thing to do is, these run off of batteries. What you can do is get the USB rechargeables, which is what I'm going to slowly start migrating to all my LED lights, is start migrating to rechargeable, or start getting some rechargeable batteries themselves and stuff. Another is having a good radio on hand. Now, I love this radio because not only is it solar powered, but it is crank powered as well. So you can crank it up and turn on the radio. It's even got a little flashlight on it. And so, but all kinds of great things. But if you're going to get one with the Weather Channel, the NOAA Weather Channel, and so that you know what the weather's going on. As well as, this has some of the shortwave bands, the more popular shortwave bands on it as well. But I want to say this was something like $40, $50, and a great little, again, another little flashlight on it. Great little radio. I don't keep batteries in it, but you can put batteries. So this battery powered, solar powered, and crank powered. Now, the great thing about this too is it has an outlet, and you're able to charge your cell phones with this as well. So, or any little thing, because it does have a little solar charger and the crank thing. It will take a while for you to charge these things, but it has the capability. And so this is a great little, and I have several of these as well. But I like the brand, and it's Cato, and I've been very pleased with that. Another brand is by Eaton, Eton, and Eaton makes the All American Red Cross radio, which looks something like that. Great radio, same thing, hand crank and everything. But what I like about the Eaton is that you can plug it in and keep it powered, but you can program it to weather alerts. So if NOAA ever sends out, so hey, a tornado's coming, or hey, it snow's coming, or hey, whatever, this radio will automatically turn on and will give you or sound you the weather alert. And so these are something that NOAA will push out over the airwaves, and any radio that has that capability will automatically come on and let you know what's going on. So let's see here, Lou Potts. Hey, Lou, how are you doing? Mike Carroll. Usually I watch YouTube on my Roku TV. No notifications. I'm sorry. Have you hit that little bell? Once you subscribe, hit that little bell, and you will. You should get an email, or at least when you log into YouTube, you'll see that you'll have notifications pending and things. But so we've talked about food, water, kitchen prep items, or kitchen tools, battery operated items, and then next is barter items. And um, I mean, a lot of people say, "Oh, don't use bullets," and if you use bullets, they're going to use them to shoot you. And I really believe, because just looking at history and looking on what's going on around the world, both in Argentina, Venezuela, some of these other countries whose currencies have basically been depreciated or hyperinflated and everything, what you will see take place is a ad hoc farmers market. They always pop up. They're always going to be around. There's nothing that, unless they just constantly, um, police them and everything, which it's too much manpower to even deal with. But call them black market. Um, but a lot of cities, at least our town, we have a farmer's market. We actually have a dedicated area for a farmer's market in the middle of town. So if anything does happen, that's going to be the natural place where people are going to buy, sell, trade, and barter. But you need to have things to barter. I'm a big fan of ammo. And again, a lot of people are, well, they're going to use the ammo to shoot you. Well, if you're in the middle of a farmer's market, some guy is not going to be trading ammo with you and then blow your brains out in the middle of everywhere else. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to get that bad. At least in all the natural disasters and situations that I've lived through, people tend to be pretty good. And so, yeah, things can get crazy and everything, but I've seen in natural disasters, people band together versus, tearing the world to pieces. But you need things to barter with. And so, some of the things I wanted to share with you, this is something called gold bucks or gold backs. And these are great. They've been around for a couple of years now. And what these are basically gold embedded certificates, if you can call them that. But these, for example, this one has 1/1000th of an ounce of gold embedded into it. And they've done something with the technology, but there's gold embedded in this. This is a $5, and this has 1/200th of an ounce of gold embedded into it. And you can definitely feel the weight of these two. They're definitely two different. And these are great barterable items because this is actual gold. And if you really wanted to get to the gold, what you do is drop it in a kiln, melt it down, and the gold will be there. So, but these are items that are becoming very popular, and in fact, these are now legal tender or legal tender or legal money in a number of states. New Hampshire, I believe, Utah. What are these? This is Wyoming, and then New Hampshire, Wyoming, Utah, a number of Nevada, a number of states have now seen these. You can pay your electric bill with gold backs in some of these states. So, but look at these. These are an inexpensive way to start attaining gold and be able to be bartered. So I love these things. Gold backs are super great. I learned about these when I was speaking in Tennessee at the Knoxville PrepperCon, and they were there. And I really, really dug these things. But gold backs are something to look into. A lot of your companies like American Precious Metals, J&M Bullion, so forth and so on, usually will have these. And or if you have a local coin dealer in your town, gold, silver dealer in your town, odds are they'll probably have some of these as well too. So look into these. It's a great inexpensive way to get started in gold. Other things that you need to have, like again, barter, but these are little 1/10 of an ounce silver. And I think I've got these from American Precious Metals, and I just got a bunch of them as 1/10 of an ounce of silver. And then also I have some some Liberty Head dimes in here too. But silver, very, very barterable item. And in fact, silver coins. These are silver bullion. In fact, these are again, J&M bullion, and 9999% pure. But wonderful thing about silver, see if you can hear it. Usually silver makes a certain sound, and when you hear it, it's got a high pitched sound, and I can't get it to do it, but it's got a high. There's just a sound that you can hear with silver, and but silver coins, and in fact, in Venezuela right now, 1 ounce of silver will buy you a month's worth of groceries. And it's interesting what's going on there in Venezuela. And so a lot of people say they poo-poo precious metals and everything. They're also what's becoming very popular in Venezuela is shaving off silver or shaving off a little piece of gold or something and paying, one shave for a haircut or several shaves for a meal. But gold and silver are becoming almost the de facto means of transactions or a medium of exchange in Venezuela, as well as Argentina, so, or other countries as well. Whenever their currency bottoms out or hyperinflates or gets devalued, one of the first things that people always turn to, one is the US dollar, and that's from all over the world. But we're very concerned about our own currency getting devalued here soon. But the next thing that people go to is gold and silver. Gold and silver is God's currency. God invented it. There's nothing that can be copied or made from it. You can't just whip it together and make your own silver or gold. It's impossible to do. And in fact, Leonardo da Vinci was working on it. And what is that? It's a special chemistry sort of thing. What they were always trying to create gold from lead, and you can't. So no matter what, but gold and silver are always excellent means of barter and trade. And so I highly encourage people to get some gold and silver into their preparedness bags or preps. And I'm a big fan of silver over gold. Because you can take one of these and buy a month's worth of food, whereas taking in a whole dollar, walking eagle or something like that, or double eagle or something, you can't. So how do you make change with a gold coin? Now what you can do is go convert it to that nation's currency and everything, but in a hyperinflation or a demised currency situation, the currency is not stable, and so it's always fluctuating, and so you'll never really get your quote unquote money's worth or something unless you constantly have to keep an eye on the markets and stuff. But gold and silver always stay true. They always buy the same thing. There's a thing out there talks about one of these will buy you a loaf of bread. It's still the same price. The cost of a loaf of bread today is about 3 something, 4 something. And so when you break down the price of silver in tangible assets and things, bread, a 1 dime will always buy you a loaf of bread. 1 silver quarter will always get you a gallon of gas. And then 10 of these will always buy you a gun. And then there's just a number of things that gold and silver. So 1 ounce of gold will always buy a nice fine suit. Will basically give you an entire outfit. So a suit, tie, shirt, shoes, socks, belt, so forth. But there's been historical norms showing that the precious metals will always, maintain its value. It's a great protector of wealth. So barter items. Other things that you can use here. Let's see here. What was it? Shoot. Tools and duct tape is number 6. So number 5 was barter items. Number 6 is tools and duct tape. I mean, the world lists. I don't know about you, but I fix so many things with Gorilla Tape out there. I love Gorilla Tape. It is a great thing to have on hand. You can do so much with it. In fact, on some of the naked and frayed people bring duct tape with them, and it's like, dude, what are you thinking about? But when you start seeing what they're making out of duct tape, it's like, wow, that's pretty cool. But tools and duct tape are something that you definitely need. If you don't have a basic tool kit, put it together. Put together hammers, screwdrivers, nails, all that other stuff. I mean, I'm constantly, whenever I go to garage sales, right, I'm always picking up extra hand tools and everything. If anything, they're another barter item. Tools will always be a good barter item, but it's something to look at and so forth. Next, number 7 is hunting and fishing items. I really encourage people to start learning how to hunt and fish. And in fact, one of the things that I've got, this is this is a collapsible fishing rod, and I use this puppy. I love this thing, but I have one for my daughter as well. She has a little bit smaller one, but this is great. It's all compact, ready to go. You can throw it in a bug out bag. I mean, it's a little bit big for the bug out bag, but it's a great tool. I love. We don't have lakes here. I mean, we do, but there's one about an hour or so away, so I'm not really going to go there and fish. We have a lot of streams, and so I don't need a lot of tackle. I don't need this massive gear or anything like that. Everything that I need to go fishing fits in that little box right there. And I have another little small, toolbox of all my weights and hooks. And I mean, there's some in here too, but for all my fancy stuff and everything, I just have another small box that I just take with me. And that's what I take with me when I hit the streams and rivers and, do that. So look into, these another great, and I have one. I should have brought it out and let you seen it, but it's made by Ronco, and it flips open, and it's a little fishing pole. And this thing rocks. I love this thing, and I've caught fish with it too. But this is something that you can buy on Amazon still. It's the Fisher Pro or something, but it folds up, and you can open it up, and it turns into a little fishing pole. And but it's made by Ronco, and great little fishing pole, great for the car, great for the bug out bag and things. But so number 7, hunting fishing items. And so learn to hunt, start getting out there, start learning how to hunt and everything. Number 8 is camp gear. And this is a biggie because when I was a FEMA inspector for the Loma Prieta earthquake, as well as when Hurricane Harvey went through Houston. I mean, we were all part of that. And so camp gear was at a premium, and people just needed someplace to camp or stay or things, because people were just evacuating Houston and everything like crazy because the floodwaters. So there was no place for anywhere for people to camp or go. They had to camp because all the hotel rooms and everything were all filled up. So camping, people would let people camp on their front yards and things just to try to help them out. But having some good camp gear on hand is super, super important. Get some good tents, get some good backpacks, get some good sleeping bags, sleeping pads, tarps, stakes, ropes, cordage. I'm a big fan of cordage. In fact, this right here, I love my 550 cord. And this roll here is about $50-$60. And this is to mil spec. And so it's mil spec 550 cord and or paracord. And the reason I call it 550 cord is because the cord will hold 550 pounds. And you can pull the strands out. I believe it has 7 strands. And then each one of those strands will pull apart into 3 or 4 strands. And so you can make all kinds of things with 550 cord. I wear my survival bracelet all the time. And, it's there's just, I'm a huge fan of 550 cord, but you can get some mil spec 550 cord on Amazon for about $50-$60 for a whole roll. And this is something like 1,000 feet. What is this? Yeah, it's 1,000 feet of 550 paracord. But I've gone through one roll already with everything that I do around the house and use and everything. I use paracord like crazy. And so this is something that I just love, having some paracord on hand. And again, there's just so much that you can do with paracord. It's not even funny. Um, Next is first aid items and a personal first aid kit. Or also, I'm a big fan. This is my cut kit, and I've got several of these around the house, and these are all geared up for about $50. you can make yourself a quality, actually about 2 quality cut kits. And I've got gauze, I've got the tourniquet, I've got cotton balls. I think I took it out and put it in my bag. Um, but I have an Israeli bandage, um, some other gear and everything. But I have one in the garage, one in the kitchen, and then I have this one down here in my office, as well as just a standard everyday first aid kit that I put together. Again, I like putting together my own first aid gear. You can go out and get some of these pre-made first aid boxes, and it'll give you a good start. But I think everybody needs to have an Israeli bandage. I think everybody needs to have a tourniquet. I think everybody needs to have quick clot so you can stop the bleeding, which a Israeli bandage will also do. But if you got a cut on the finger or something, I'm a big fan of super glue. And so if you get a cut or anything, because I'm always cutting myself. I love my knives. I love my sharp, pointy, stabby things. And so I'm always getting cut. So I've learned to just keep a bunch of you know, quick glue around or super glue, and it will heal up a cut really real good because it just mends the skin together. But building your own first aid kits, a lot of people that I saw in Harvey, as well as Loma Prieta and Rita Katrina and everything, a lot of injuries and everything, people didn't have first aid. And so, or they just had these basic store-bought first aid boxes that really don't do much. They're good for, little cuts and scrapes and stuff, but nothing hardcore. So I think everyone needs to have that Israeli bandage and so forth. Um, and then, so that was number 9. And then number 10 is something that I really learned, especially in doing the earthquakes with FEMA and everything. Family pictures. You would not believe how many people, when I was talking to them, when their homes were utterly destroyed, and they had such regret that they did not grab the family picture album. And so whenever you're putting together your bug out bag, or get home bag or something like that, put some family pictures together. And so have family pictures. You will not believe, especially in a natural disaster, if someone would happen to pass away, these pictures become just gold to you. And so, yeah, this is mine for my bug out bag. This is my family picture, you know, things. But family pictures, you would not believe what sort of a motivation factor that is, and how much it means to you to have family pictures, especially if your home's destroyed, especially if you're on the go, or so forth and so on. And then my very last thing, and some people may agree, some people may not agree, is family Bible. And I've had this Bible now for years. These are a bunch of friends of mine who always, whenever I make new friends or something, I'd always have them sign my Bible. So this Bible means a lot to me. And, it's all marked up, got verses, marked and everything, but a Bible, you know, believe it or not, no matter what you believe in or something, having a book of faith will help get through the hard times. And it's something that's very valuable. And so until you're there, and again, I learned this because of the people in the Loma Prieta earthquake. That was the second thing. First thing was family pictures. Second thing was their family Bible, and that they wish they would have grabbed on the way out. Because in some situations, if you do have to bug out in a natural disaster or something like that, you don't have much time. So you got to think quick and everything. But so many people left behind their family Bible, as well as, their family photos. And there was so much regret. And it was just amazing to me how many people didn't have these things, or the people who did think about it and they grabbed it, they were so grateful that they did have their family Bible and family pictures, because it will help you get through the hard times. So those are the 10 items or 11 items that I recommend everybody to get now. And so it's very important. If you go to my website, raymondmhor.com or thekiltedprepper.com, if you just scroll down to the homepage and look for more articles, I have actually an article with links and so forth uh, that will help you with the 11 items. But check it out. And what I will do too is I will compile a list of links of a lot of the products that I did talk to you about in this video, and I will add it to the description. Look for those tomorrow. It's going to take me a little bit of time to compile all that put together because I just was not too super prepared because I had to get my daughter today from her grandma's house, and so ran in, grabbed her, picked her up, brought her home, and everything. So, um, any questions? Anything here? I know Debbie was asking a lot of stuff. I tried to answer as much as I could there, Debbie. Fishing tackle, spot, flashlight. Yeah, flashlight, knife, waterproof matches. Yep. Heavy duty garbage bag. Yep. What do you think? Totally agree, bud. Totally agree. Cool about gold backs. Never heard of those before. Awesome. These things rock. They are a newer technology. They impregnated the gold within the ink. And they have a $50 gold back, and you can definitely feel the weight. But if push comes to shove and stuff, you can melt these down and get the gold out of them. But they are super easy to carry, super easy to use. Will help you introduce you to the gold market and being able to buy gold. For example, a one gold back or $1 gold back or something costs something about $4.50, 4.75. You can always go to goback.com and it'll give you the latest rate or spot value for these things, and you can look them up, as well as a great calculator. So if you want to buy things in gold backs, you can go to their website, use their calculator, and they used to have a phone app for that as well. But these are super, super cool, and because gold is going to be used and things, and I think that these are going to be really be recognized as a true barterable item. I bought a Lucy M-powered solar lamp 5 years ago. They're still working great. Yeah, can't go wrong with solar. Speaking about metals, if prices go up for them, it often promotes crime. So pay attention more to crime promotes than higher prices. Yep, totally agree with you, bud. Debbie, thanking Lou. Debbie, need a list with links to find all these cool things. I will put them together and post it in this description tomorrow. So come back to this video tomorrow and you'll see probably 20 links of everything that we've talked about tonight. Like I said, I didn't have my act together like I did last week with all my links prepared and stuff. But a lot of the things you can get on Amazon and everything. But if you use my links, I will get a pittance of affiliation money. So please use my links whenever possible so that it will help kind of pay me back and buy cool things like this new microphone that I got here. Woohoo! Um, and other things. So the money goes back into reinvesting in it. I'm always buying new stuff to help better. I just bought and I need to apologize to you all. I bought Camtasia for my video program. My other video program, they did a stinking update and the program is just crap now. And I've even contacted people. I've been using it's Corel Video Studio Pro. I've been using that now for like 10 years. Love the program and everything. And they did some stupid update that just totally messed everything up. And I'm not the only one complaining. So I got just totally fed up with it and went out and bought Camtasia. And I've been learning Camtasia this week. So this is one reason why I haven't been seeing too many videos from me this week. And I deeply apologize to all y'all because I'm learning Camtasia and it's actually rather easy. It's still timeline based and everything, but just kind of has a different feel and look. And so I'm not as fast at editing things and stuff in Camtasia yet. So, but look for new videos. I am putting together a video about eggs. There's a lot going on with eggs. And in fact, there was a very good scientific study that came out about egg yolks that I'm going to be talking about in that video. And in fact, it's rather interesting to the point of conspiracy. But yeah, I'll be probably putting that out tomorrow or Monday. So look for that video. It'll be very good. You want to like, subscribe, and share that video for sure. So SteamYards does that too. Howdy y'all. Hey Grinch, how you doing, bud? Nice to see you again. So any questions for you guys? Can I answer anything for you here real quickly or anything like that? I love doing these lives, and I hope that you guys have been helping you. And anything that I can help with, I've been prepping all my life. My mom was a Depression era child, and so we naturally learned how to can and dehydrate. She had one of the first dehydrators, and I was looking it up the other day, and it was from the 1970s. And it was again a good forced air, but basically kind of an Excalibur. It wasn't the Excalibur, I forget the name, but I've known how to dehydrate for air for ages, and then canning and pressure canning and all that other stuff. So I was raised kind of in always keep your food pantry stocked, and how to always, make sure that you have a good plethora of food and everything on hand, because you never know what's going to happen. So, steam yard does okay, same thing. But that's all, folks. We're hitting the 1 hour mark, and so finished it just in time. So make sure you like, subscribe, share, and then ring that little bell, and so that you'll get notified when I post new videos. And thank you for subscribing. To those of you who have subscribed, I want to thank you so much. Those of you who are new to this channel and everything, I just want to welcome you and thank you and welcome. And so again, like, subscribe, share, and so that's everything. Uh, I'm Raymond Mhor, Kilted Prepper. We'll see you. Goodbye, God bless, and kilt on.